Hi, how's it going? It's the end of week 1 of my London Marathon training plan. So for those of you who don't know, my name is Steve. I am running the London Marathon in April 2026. Absolute dream race for me. And I'm running it for a small cancer charity called Pancreatic Cancer Action. There is a QR code if you would like to support my fundraising efforts. They are charity close to my heart. I lost my dad to pancreatic cancer in 2018, so running for them and raising money for them is a real privilege. So yeah, I thought I'd tell you a little bit about how week 1 of my training has gone. So London will be my 6th marathon, and so I've got a little bit used to marathon training blocks now, and I think I'm coming into the London one better prepared than I have done for any of my previous other marathons. Part of the reason for that is that I'm coming into it quite close off the back of doing Amsterdam and Valencia marathon last year. So I feel like I've still retained quite a lot of conditioning and fitness for that. So I'm hoping that I'm kind of going into this training block with a bit of a head start comparatively to the other marathons that I've done. So compared to my previous plan when I was coming back from an injury and I reduced my runs down to 3 a week, I am going back up to 4 runs a week. So this week I have done 4 training runs. Yeah, it's been probably the most obscure training week of all my marathon plans to date, because the weather in the UK has been a little bit unpredictable. So this week I've covered around 52 kilometres across 4 runs. So I've started at quite a high mileage, kilometerage. Is that what we say if we're doing it in kilometres? So yeah, the week started off kind of as the week carried on in a way. It started off running in trail shoes on the road because the roads were the grippiest non-trail shoes would have been no good in the conditions. So it was running on pretty icy pavements. So as I say, that first run that I was doing in the trail shoes in the ice was actually an interval session, which made things pretty interesting. So it was a session that was like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute with equal amounts rest to running. And then there was a second set of 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute with equal rest between each set. So actually having to get up to kind of interval paces on very sketchy ground was not my favourite session in the world, but got it done, managed to hit the paces, managed to not fall over, which was, I guess, the main priority for that session. So that was good. Got that one in the legs. We had an easy run, which was fine. The conditions had cleared up by then, and the streets weren't as icy, so I did those not in trail shoes, which was good. I was wearing the Nike Structure Plus that I bought recently. I used to wear Nike Structures all the time when shoe rotations were a single shoe. I used to run in Nike Structures, so I was quite keen to see what their Structure Plus model was like that has only just come out. There'll be a review of those coming up on the channel, so if you want to know my broader opinions of those, get subscribed. And then the third run of the week was another interval session. So I'm following Coopah rather than runner. The last video I made on the channel was a comparative video of runner versus Coopah. I was trying to decide which one to go with for London. I ultimately decided to go with Coopah for the reasons that I just haven't used them before. They're the official training plan provider for the London Marathon, and I got it provided to me through my charity place. So I thought I'd give it a go so I could have a kind of a broad view of these training plans and how they differ, how they're the same. So yeah, it was 2 interval sessions this week, and the second one I did during Parkrun, and that was my run of the week. So what I'm going to try and do with my training vlogs is tell you what my run of the week is, why I enjoyed it so much, why it was the run of the week. So the third run of the week was, I say, another interval session. It was kind of a fartlek. It was 10-minute warm-up, 10-minute cool-down at the end, but in between that there was 25 minutes of 2.5 minutes on fast pace, and then 2.5 minutes recovery, and then repeat that for the duration of the 25 minutes. So that worked really well within a park run, because the kind of off paces weren't like walking. They were just more around kind of 5:30 per kilometre compared to like 4:30 per kilometre. And you know, when you just have one of those runs where you feel good, everything's clicked, you're hitting the fast paces well, you feel like you've got more in the tank. It was just one of those days where it all kind of came together well, and I felt really good, and it was a really good confidence builder. So that was my run of the week. Then on to Sunday, which I thought would be my run of the week, because that was my long run and it was due to be a 23k run. So once again, if you've watched my videos before, you might have come across Rasselbach, or if you're a local runner in the UK, you might have come across an organisation called Rasselbach, and they do really great events. They do these looped events. I've talked before about doing these looped events where you do 5 to 6 or 7k loops, quite often in lovely places like this. The one I did on Sunday was in Sherwood Pines, Sherwood Forest in Nottinghamshire. I thought that would be the run of the week. I arrived there, I knew it would be cold. I was wearing all the right gear, wearing the right shoes, was in the trail shoes again. The Nike Ultraflies were the trail shoes that I was wearing. I did 4 laps, and 2 laps were fine. It was cold and I expected it to be cold. It then got wet. Cold and wet conditions combined make things really tricky. So it was tricky for 2 reasons. One, because the ground went from being kind of frosty and hard and compact to a bit more sketchy. Yeah, the ground was wetter, so it was just kind of harder to run in. And also, because it was freezing and rain, I was getting really cold. I'd layered up a lot. I was wearing possibly 4 layers, 5 layers maybe. And yeah, by the end of the 3rd lap, I was like, okay, I'm feeling pretty cold now. So I got into some kind of fresh layers, because you can go back to base and change. So I changed it a couple of layers to try and put some drier clothes on. And yeah, I just struggled in the last 2 laps of that. And as much as I enjoyed the event, nothing wrong with the event, nothing wrong with the organisation, it was all done brilliantly. Just the conditions weren't the most enjoyable, certainly in the final 2 laps that were best part of 12k. So I thought that would be my run of the week, but I didn't enjoy it as much as the run I had the day before. That ended up being more like 24k than 23k, which is what was on the plan. And yeah, it was a real struggle. However, I've signed up to another Rasselbach event in a couple of weeks when I've got another long run that I can go and do laps of a lovely place called Coopah Park, which I've never been to before. So that'll be nice. Some of these places I've run quite frequently around. So Ferry Meadows near Peterborough, Sherwood Pines, Sherwood Forest. So going to a new place is always quite exciting. And I've heard Coopah Park is very nice. So that'll be in a couple of weeks. I'm going to try and have a bit of structure to these weekly vlogs. One thing I'm going to try and do, because I've not really done it before, is I kind of wear a lot of shoes. I buy shoes because I review shoes and then I wear them, but you end up favouring some. When you're not reviewing them, it's like what you're choosing today to go out and run. So I'm going to kind of keep a kind of cumulative total of what I've done in what shoes. This week I have ran in, how many different pairs of shoes? 3 different pairs of shoes. So I've done 32.8 kilometres in the Nike Ultraflies. I have done 10 kilometres in the Nike Structure Plus, and I've done 9k in the Asics Mega Blast. And that was what was my favourite run of the week. So yeah, the marathon training plan, I think has started off well. It's been a challenging week, just because of the conditions, but got the distance done. We felt good doing it. So yeah, we're on to week 2. Like the video. It feels like one of the older vlogs I used to do. It's nice to return back to doing them. If you fancy subscribing to the channel, that would be great. Follow my journey to London. If you want to sponsor me, there is a QR code, and there also is a link in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time. See ya.